Hello boomers, Paul here. Today's video is going to be again under the control panel, but this time it's going to be devices and printers. If you go in through the category view, it will be hardware and sound, devices and printers, the first one in the list. Now there are various ways of looking at all these, just like there is in the normal Windows Explorer or File Manager. I'm not sure, I think this is the default view where it comes up with very little text and nice big pictures. I tend to use the tile view because it gives me more information, smaller pictures, but it tells me there's no documents in the queue and the printer's ready, for example, there. But for today's video I'm going to put it back to large icons. Let's cover the devices first. Typically if you double click on these, it's just going to give you a couple of tabs about the properties of that device. If you right click, you can have a look at some of the settings. That will bring up the control panel, appearance and personalization display. And we'd go backwards on that. It'll go back to where we were. Hopefully. It's a little sluggish, this computer. Now if you go to something like the phone, if I double click on that, it will pick up bring up a picture here, a bigger picture, and give me the options available for that phone. And if I go to a printer and do double click, it will do much the same. Shows me 0 documents in the queue, printer ready, default format, and the options below that I can adjust the printer, customize it, or even see what's printing. To see what's printing, just double click, and hopefully you get 0 stuck in here. If you do get a document stuck in here, you can always say cancel all the documents, or you can right click on it and cancel the single document if there's one in there. There we go, cancel option there. And let's see here, add a device. There we go, this is what the panel looks like. It's now searching for devices. It's not going to find anything. Let's go find one, shall we? Alright. There we go. This picture here shows a Bluetooth device being found. You would typically highlight it with your mouse pointer and click next and then follow the prompts. Typically for a Bluetooth phone, you'd want to put it into pairing mode by usually holding down the on button for several seconds, and it puts it into pairing mode. It will come up in this list, and then when you click on it, it will ask you to enter a code to pair the two devices, your computer and the Bluetooth device, and then it'll say finish, and that'll be it. And it'll show up in the devices list. Printers. As you can see, I've highlighted printer, and it's giving me all these options up the top. I can remove the device, see what's printing, or add a printer. And we'll just, let's just go in here first though. Properties. In the old Windows system, XP, it would be here you'd go to see the printer properties. They split that off from about Windows Vista onwards, so here it is now. There's a whole bunch of tabs. There are some device settings. It's set to letter for the upper tray and the manual paper feed. And you can change some other options. I wouldn't do that unless you absolutely knew in detail what you were wanting to do. Advanced options, spooling, these are the defaults. I'd leave those alone. It tends to buffer into the Windows folder before it prints it, especially if you've got a slow printer. It helps speed things up so that your program can go back to being usable rather than held up trying to print directly to the printer, which is this option. There's a couple of other options down here that talking about spool the documents first, keeping the printed documents, etc. Then down the bottom we got 3 more. Separated page is simply a file that you can use to separate your documents. Print processor I wouldn't worry about, there's nothing we can do in there. And then there's some other printing defaults that you can use, layout, paper quality, etc. And there's an advanced option which gives you some more defaults that you can change. You can change it, say, from 300 dots per inch to 600 dots per inch and so forth. Okay. This is a network printer, so it's going to have a port, and that can be configured if necessary, or you can change it by adding one, or even delete it if you've removed the printer. Sharing is this is shared out as test. So if I wanted to add a new printer, I could go to another computer and it would show up as test on the Vostro 400. And then of course there's the general details about it. So if I wanted to add a new printer, it's not local because it's not connected to this computer. I'd say add a network one and it should find it. If it doesn't find it, I can always manually put it in. So I go there, and then I would go in here and type // and it's on the Vostro 400, and I'd put in, see it's not listed, it's trying to offer up some solutions, but I put in test, and if it's there, it should give me another option. There it is, it found it, and it's going to give it to me under that name. The share and the name are not linked, and I could say next and it would add it in. I don't particularly want to do that. And I'm going to take the share off it at the same time, which means going back to sharing, unchecking it, closing it. That's not shared. It didn't show me on this one, so I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to go to printer properties, sharing, put this one in. I'm going to leave it at the default and say go. And there, you can see it's actually put in a little share icon, which it should do, but maybe this little icon here, the default icon, is getting in the way. And it just defaults to that one rather than telling me it's shared as well. Would have been nice if they stacked them side by side. Oh well. So printer preferences, that's another option. It'll give you some basic configurations of the printer. This will change from printer to printer. You've got some dots per inch and support, etc. You can change a lot of these things. In all the years I've been in IT, I've not really done much in the way of configuring unique settings for printers. Now this printer, this brother, is a USB printer, and that's how it was originally configured. However, I did actually configure it as a network printer by putting a product on there called a gearbox on the network and then plugging it into it. It's a bit more tricky to set up, but that means that this printer now is actually a network printer and is not dependent upon this computer being on to share it out. That's the downside of having a share on a local computer to everybody else in the office, is that that computer with the printer has to be on 24/7. So that's pretty much it. I think we've covered everything here that needs to be covered. You can poke around in here and take a look. You can double click on things to find out what's printing and what options you've got to change the print setup. Otherwise, we're on to the next one in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and make some comments.